First thing we have to do is make sure our batteries are well charged up so we can use these test sets without interruption. Batteries don't last very long, so that's how you plug them in. Also, Viavi recommends having it plugged in, turned on for at least 20 minutes before doing the reference. Now you can see here that the reference takes 3 cables: test reference cable number 1, test reference cable number 2, and they call the other one the substitution cable. I think you'll see why very shortly. And we're going to start with, take the cover off that, and notice it has no pin. That'll be the one that goes actually in the test set. Now first thing we're going to do is we're going to use that built-in fiber scope. Take a look at this. That is the focus knob if you need it. It's nicely focused there, as you can see. And the little brass knob I'm turning lets me go from left to right across the face of the connector and look at all 12 ports. This happens to be a 12-port connector. And it may be useful to note that they don't number left to right 1 to 12. They number like that. So later on, if you're troubleshooting and you see a particular fiber that's bad, like for example 12 is not the one on the end, 12 is the one in the middle. That may be helpful. Alright, so now that once that's good and clean, we'll connect to the test set. Also, I did not show cleaning the port of the test set itself, which I would do. So all the cleaning and scoping is being omitted here just to make the video shorter. But that's no excuse. I really did clean all these before I started the video. Now on the next one here, where this test reference cable number 2 is going to connect to the substitution cable, I'm going to look and find that there are pins here that need to be removed. So I have pins on both ends. So we're going to remove the pins using this tool. And this is not a video on how to use the tool. There are some good ones on YouTube if you need to know how to use it. But it can be used for reversing the polarity on an MPO, and also removing pins and installing pins if you need them. So in this case, we're going to be removing pins. Pins naturally are designed to hold in the connector, and in order to remove them, you always have to squeeze the tool closed, which you'll see. Right now it's about to be, yep, you squeeze it closed and it releases the pins so they will come out. Alright, so now the pins are out. And we can connect that one into the bulkhead, connecting it to the other one that has pins. All the test reference cords that we have, I believe, are the Pro type, so you can add or remove pins and change polarity. A lot of MPO cables are fixed type and you can't change them, but our test cords, the ones I've seen so far, have been changeable. Now that we're connected all the way through, our 2 test reference cords and the substitution cord, the next step will be the referencing itself. You see we have 2 devices. We have a source and a meter. The referencing is done on the meter, the one on the right in this case. Now we're going to look at how actually to do the reference. Press this slight arrow, set reference, and then next, and it will begin referencing. It'll send signals on all the fibers and measure what it gets. Takes a little time, as you can see. The green is what you want, just like that. If I hit detail, I can see the numbers that were measured on all of them. And I do want to point out that right after that it says we should remove the substitution cord. That's the next thing it wants us to do. I also want to point this out. You may see something like this when you do a set reference. You may get a situation where when it does the reference, it will come up with either a red square or a yellow square. This is not good. This is the test fibers you're using are not as good as they could be, or they're a little bit dirty. If you do the detail, you'll see it has one fiber in them that's a little bit low. So you can redo, you can get better fibers or clean it better. And just a reminder, you want that green square like this. All right, so now that we have that, our next step is to remove the substitution fiber. I'm going to take it out completely. And for the demonstration purposes here, I have a slightly long fiber we're going to put in here as our test case. You may need to add or remove pins on those connectors. You may need to change the polarity of those connectors depending on what you're testing. And we're going to get our cable to be tested here. It's a slightly longer MPO cable. And again, I'm going to double check the pins, and it all matches up. Looks like we again need to use a tool. Demonstrating the use of the cleaner this one time. Just as a reminder that it needs to be used every time. And now we have our test reference cables in place. We're actually on the cable we're going to be testing. So now we're going to go to the actual screen and do our testing. That is the button that begins testing. Wants to know if we wanted to save the previous result from the last one we tested. I said no in this case. Testing doesn't take very long. Our result is passed, as you can see. And if I want, I can click on the 1300 nanometer and see the levels of all the fibers that were received. And in 850, I can see all of them as well. And then I press the button that looks like a floppy disk, and I can save my result. You see that it says run 17, that was the last one I tested. I increment it to make it run number 18, and then save it. And I now have saved it as number 18. Move back here, we go to a different test fiber, and then I press test, and now I'm testing the second fiber. And that is about it. That's all you need.